Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the Sina Cup Grand Final for the Season 5. As Invictus Gaming up against Vici Gaming with IG a 2-0 lead going their way as we head ourselves directly into game number 3. And, well, so far, domination by IG on both games. Let's see how we go with game number 3. And my co-caster for our series, it is Pandaego. Welcome back, man.
Hey, glad to be here. Sorry I'm not Emerald Bulldog. That's okay.
The chat might be sad. The chat might be sad. But the Bulldog didn't reply to me. I tried. I honestly
They can still talk to him in Twitch chat. He likes to be a part of the Twitch chat experience rather than casting to the people, I believe.
Well, if he doesn't use his emotions, how are people meant to subscribe to his channel? Because they're just like, oh, that's a Bulldog face. I want a Bulldog face.
It's true.
That's how he earns real money, peoples. That's how he earns real money.
Earns real money. Well, if you told me that IG would be up 2 games at the beginning of this series, I would not have believed you, but here we are.
I wouldn't have believed myself. Like, really, IG were not looking strong at all. If you looked at them 2 weeks ago, you'd be like, what the hell is this? And I didn't believe Black the other day when he said, you know, man, everyone in China is just so close. Next week, expect everyone to be on complete even footing. And I'm like, really?
Vici Gaming
and Vici Gaming were the #1 team in China until 2 days ago. At which point, it's all currently being contested. They've just had a couple of bad days, maybe. Either way, we have our draft already underway. So very standard bans at the very start. We'll have the Doombringer actually back into the first 2 in the bans, as well as the Centaur as well. Invictus Gaming. Remember what we said during game number 1? If you got ranged heroes and you got a range Viper, they love picking up that Drow Ranger, and Luo is going to ban it out.
Yeah, I'm sure that Centaur, they're trying to avoid that as much as possible now. Typically, like, the Skyreth Mage is sort of thought of as a hero to deal with it because people always running off lane, but it's so common to just put it in a farming role in the safe lane now that, or like to draw the Skyreth away by making him gank other lanes or something. So they decided they just want to ban it out and not deal with it. That combo though last game was, because it was so fed, was crazy good. The Wisp, or not the Wisp, the Tiny Centaur combo, just like all that AoE stun and damage was like devastating VG. So this game they're going for a much different route though. Brewmaster can do a lot of work against Viper, so even though they kind of have the Viper to deal with the Razor, Brewmaster also can sort of just get rid of the Viper for the Razor. But in the laning phase, they should go pretty even, assuming they match up against each other.
Then again, I've seen normally I would agree, but I've also seen in the first like maybe 2-3 levels, Super's Viper completely outlane a Razor. He gets really over aggressive on the Razor. I'm also going to DC in a moment, as it seems like the Chinese servers are kicking me out again. I'll reconnect back in again in 6 seconds.
Did you see the Sand King pick?
Nope.
So IG just picked Sand King as their first pick in the second phase. And I think that will allow Super to be really aggressive on that Viper, because typically that hero is not too strong of like an early ganker, and you just focus on farming that quick blink. So he probably will be pretty happy with that. And also he has the Skyreth Mage like roams to back him up, because a Viper plus Skyreth Mage alone can kill a Razor if the Razor's out of position.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I'm down for that. It's also a great hero for Chung. He's played that a hell of a lot. And this gives him a jungle option, and hello Faceless Void. Coming in for Vici Gaming. So Chrono, then Control Hold. And I assume this will actually be Ices. I know we had Blacks earlier today, Faceless Void. But I still will assume every single time with Vici Gaming that's going to be an offlane Void. But then again, maybe you have to wonder what Invictus Gaming going to be running as their safe lane hero. Considering it's an SK, then the Faceless Void is probably going to be okay on that offlane. Ancient Apparition, yeah, there's actually very little harassment control. It's like IG is throwing everything they've got into...
Yeah, that pretty much confirms the offlane Faceless Void.
So yeah, I would also agree with you to 90%. It was done a month ago, I think it was, when Ice first joined into VG Gaming. This was before Black actually got to China, and they were running an offlane Invoker.
Oh, actually, I remember that.
5
Yeah, that
seconds
was.
remaining.
I don't know if that is something they didn't like. Did they do it that often? Was it like really successful for them?
It was done over a 2-3 day period, and it was done maybe twice.
Yeah, and I think they sort of abandoned that plan pretty quickly. That's the type of thing. It's just because like Ice loves the hero, I think. So he's like, "Hey guys, this will work," and then it doesn't pan out too well, and they're like, "You know what? Yeah, we're not doing that anymore." That happens sometimes among teams, but I mean, it's a potential thing. I think they're just like you said though. The Faceless Void can actually get a lot in the off lane this game. I mean, Ancient Apparition is okay at zoning him out, but he'll be fine as long as he plays pretty smart, which is Ice, so I'm sure he'll do that.
They
and
could
then also,
actually, for Vici Gaming, considering you got a Brewmaster up here, they could potentially, if it's, like, depending where the Brewmaster ends up, if that's an off-lane Brewmaster, you can have Faceless Void by himself going up against the Brew. If you can get that matchup, you might be happy with life. Then the Invoker goes up against the Razor, and Viper Skywrath +1 go on a bit of a hunt. They could, in fact, run an aggro tri-lane and match up the Void against the Brewmaster in the bottom lane and the Invoker up against the Razor in the mid, if that's what Invictus Gaming are considering right now.
I think Vici would be the type of team that would be more prone to just try and get like aggressive wards up to block the Sand King, because I mean the theory behind going aggressive there is you want to do that so the Sand King can't farm his quick blink. Otherwise, I think they're better off just doing normal lanes. So you really want to stop the Sand King, but I think that lane would stop them, but I think they'll get more out of the map if they just do normal lanes. So if they can get the wards against Sand King, their better option is probably just to do standard lanes. I really doubt they're just going to give the Sand King his jungle freely, because that would be pretty dangerous. I mean, they could do it, but with like Ancient Apparition and Panda Blink to back them up, that'll put a lot of pressure on them, really. So they need to at least delay the Sand King in some way. And like it could be aggressive, it could be blocking his jungle, it could even just be like forcing him to roam around some with the Skywrath, Elder Titan. That is... Yeah, I think it's just going to be offlane Elder Titan.
Yeah, this is just standard for Invictus Gaming. Yeah.
I think Vici will be pretty standard as well. But
they could get full standard, because, okay, if you're going to run SK in the jungle, you couldn't try... no, you don't want to really... You could get the Enigma with the Faceless Void, but maybe it's not going to be the greatest combination in the world for you.
10 seconds remaining.
I think you could try and run your own jungle hero, because right now Vici Gaming don't have that. And Invictus Gaming have a semi one, which is the SK. But in the early stages, you'll probably be majorly focusing on stacking and then get to level 2
the
stance on the farm.
Furion.
It's not gonna... No.
They love their Furion.
The support Furion did not work. I'm a fan of Prophet. I love Prophet. Play him every day if I could. But I just... He's not efficient in the jungle anymore. And he comes to a lane, he doesn't bring as much as you really want. He's basically a right click and a couple of trees, which maybe potentially, if you can summon them in the right position, can body block. And your sprout doesn't really work, because in the early stages, people have got tangos anyway. So they just break themselves free. You're better going a Chen, which isn't really played by many players at all anymore. But you'd be better having that hero.
Chen this game. I think they want a support that puts a lot of pressure on early game, because they need to stop the Sand King, I was saying. So even if it's not the aggressive, they need to have something that can like pressure the mid with the Viper while also still pressuring bottom. They can just rely on their Invoker and Faceless Void and Viper to get the farm, and then they can take the lanes later with their supports and get the levels. I don't really know what I would pick if I was in their situation. There's so many choices.
In this situation, I think the only thing that you could go in for is like, you don't want Bane. Maybe go VS. VS might be a nice option to go with the Skywrath Mage. It means you can control the Brewmaster in one position to nail him down with a Mystic Flare. You need a little bit of help to do it, though. I'm just worried about then the late game.
10 seconds
the late game potential. Skywrath and VS will just die directly to the Ancient Apparition. So yeah,
I like that choice.
It really does limit them in a way. Unless this is an aggro tri-lane from them, and then like a black Invoker on bottom lane, Ice in the mid as the Faceless Void. Because up against the Elder Titan, I don't think you really want to be having Void going up against Titan. And Ice is probably aware of this too. Like, Ice has played so much Elder Titan, it's not funny.
Could they do an aggro challenge Void? The thing is, with Wraith King and Skywrath, like, they can just roam. So they can just do standard, like, their regular lanes anyways. They can put Invoker bot or Viper bottom. and then just have the Faceless Void be off lane, and they can just run around with this. Like the Wraith King Skywrath roaming combo is really popular. I mean, Liquid like did it a lot. TI are they all lagging? Oh, they have a disconnect. All right, yeah. I'm getting a little bit of lag in this game. I think I'll wait till the pause. Then I might have to reconnect. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty common thing, and it should like allow them to force Sand King to react to them a little bit instead of just letting him freely stack and farm the jungle. So I also believe they will, since they have a Wraith King Skywrath at level 1 and a Viper, they'll go for that like level 1 run into the Dire jungle and like ward it up with sentries. But I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure they're going to do that.
Well, I see observers so far. I just want Observer giving over to the Faceless Void. There's no sentries being purchased. They're gonna be defensive about it all. So we got Super actually heading down to the bottom lane. Maybe they could try and catch out the other Titan. I'm fairly certain Black's gonna want to remain down here. He's walking around with Tango Salve as well as just a ring of protection for the moment. FY, we've got smokes, we've got wards, we've got 2 tangos as well as a wraith band. So that's definitely a mid solo build for a Viper. And Ice just gets the ward down. And all IG do is just put a very defensive vision ward. It's actually a long way over to the right, but this will allow June to just basically do whatever the hell he wants and back up without dying. Meanwhile, up on top lane, Chung will be the Sand King, Brute's first man. We got a Observer ward planting down by the Ancient Apparition. Well, he's moved into position to do it. But the Radiant Observer Ward's currently watching for this. So it won't be too difficult for Vici Gaming to get the D ward out in that. I'm still not seeing anybody buying up sentries, however. I want to get on. So off lane June, mid lane Ferrari Brewmaster, top lane Luo Razor, and then the 2 supports with him. Super middle lane is the Viper, Ice, off lane Faceless Void, bottom lane, safe lane Invoker, Black Exort. And then we'll have Fenrir as well as FY, the Skywrath as well as the Wraith King, who's also been able to find himself an Invis rune. So potential for killing in the middle lane is now just raised tenfold. But only if Ferrari loses control of the creep wave and he ends up moving back past this line. Even in this position, okay, so he comes very close to the line. He needs to be at that line because it's impossible for Fenrir to get in range. In fact, he's being, he got pinged out just then. He's being watched by Ferrari 430, which is why this gank isn't going to work.
I'm still out of the game, sorry.
That's cool. Ice managed to be zoned out a little bit on this off lane. So Luo as well as Chispug together. And you got Static Link as well as Chilling Touch, bonus damage on 2 range heroes against a melee hero. The only thing Ice can do is hope to drag Creep Wave down, which now he's lost not complete control of. But he's definitely staying in range to get the experience at least. So that'll give him his 1 point up and backtrack. He just needs to live on this top lane. While Super, he actually gives himself a, I'll say a favorable matchup until he keeps getting drunk and brawled up, and Ferrari went for a very quick bottle. Just the 2 branches instead of going for the tango. And Super actually ended up going in for a magic stick. And this middle lane is the Viper. But Ferrari's off to a decent start. 3-0, but then again it's 5-6 for Super. For all this drunken brawler, he doesn't really seem to actually be getting as great a start as I thought he really had. You're still trying to connect in again, are you?
I just got in, actually I'm good now.
Right. Welcome back in again.
Yeah. It looks like the lanes are pretty normal, yeah, and they're just, everything's pretty standard.
It's just Ferrari. I'm actually seeing him losing this middle lane up against Super right now. He's dropping very, very low. The Drunken Brawler and as well as Drunken Haze is keeping him up in this game. And Chuan's going to try and babysit the regeneration rune for him, but Super's not going to let him get anywhere near it. And I think Ferrari understands this too. The pole's going to take way too long to get out. Maybe he will. Chuan still just sits on top of it, and he can see it. The Radiant Sight can see it. That's why I don't think Super's going to let him get anywhere near it. Force Chuan to take that regeneration rune. He'll move down. Well, we go for a straight Pyro Strike, and then pick up the rune, but he gets attacked straight away. So the mana loss is still going to be there.
Yeah, he picked up like 20 mana or something, but June's getting gone on. I don't. Are they gonna do this? They do have Black.
Blast, the Sunstrike.
Has a Sunstrike.
June's gonna. The Sunstrike.
Missed it. That was definitely a kill.
It looks like they actually clipped him a little bit too.
I think he just tried to lead it a little too much and instead of just waiting for the stun.
Well, a Hellfire Blast, you don't really consider the stun duration to be that long. It is 2 seconds. But it's not something where you're like, oh yeah, like this is going to be like a permanent lockdown.
It's good enough. I mean, the delay is only 1.7 for Sunstrike, so you just hit it as soon as the Hellfire Blast lands and it's a guaranteed hit. But yeah, that was just kind of a misplay. They still pushed the Elder Titan out of the lane though, and they're going to get this pull, so he's not going to get that much.
Outside Size is trying to leech out this experience. He's a little bit too far away. Chorn's able to zone him out. But he's managed to find almost level 4 on this top lane as a Faceless Void. So like Black showed in game number 1, leap yourself in with the Chrono and the team fights can drastically change. And even then, like, or you can just force the lane even further. You get a Chrono on the Ferrari. Super right now, he's leading the way by a full, like half a level actually in the mid, up against Ferrari. But the CS is through the roof for him. Not to mention the denials. June, this will be first blood right now. He gets the Spirit down, but that's not going to save him. The Sunstrike this time around hit perfectly with Concussion Shot, Orb, and Hellfire Blast. They locked him in position. So that's now Vici Gaming off to the start they needed to keep their hopes alive here in the Grand Final.
Yeah, if you get the Wraith King like really farmed early in this type of game, IG's gonna have a lot of problems. If he can get like early level 11 and get some good reincarnates in team fights, it's just too annoying for their team to deal with.
Chuan. A 1-level Burrow Strike and you get blocked up by the Radiant Creep Wave that got pulled over to the side. So you can't gank up to Ice Luo, unless the static link's being broken very, very quickly. Now that it's up to level 3, Ice can actually hesitate with that Time Walk.
Can they actually combo him? Let's see, so...
Not with the level 1 Burrow Strike. They can't get in range. I think that's the primary problem right now of IG is the fact they just don't have a jump ability. And you only got 1 point up in the Sandstorm, so Chuan, we got ourselves a double stack prepped by the Ancient Apparition. In fact, what we got? We got 2 double stacks prepped right now. So the SK could potentially farm it up, but he needs his 2nd level up in Sandstorm before he can do it. You can't do it with the 1st. In the meantime, their lanes just are not going the way of IG. The gold advantage is now stretching up to 1500. Experience is around the same. Because you've got Fenrir as well as FY being rather efficient inside their own jungle. And you got this impending Sunstrike, which can come at any point, into Ferrari, who still is 14-0 up against a 31-14 Viper.
Smoking on mid right here. They're trying to get Panda before actually just picked up 6.
With the Hellfire Blast, they have Seal. But they have to walk up and seal him straight away. And the stun wait as long as they possibly could. The Sunstrike's coming in. Ferrari can't TP out. Black is now able to pick up his 1st kill of the game. He helped out with the Sunstrike before, but this time he actually takes it. And that all goes to the Bill Me Midas fund as the Invoker.
I really like what Fenrir did there. He actually, I mean, typically you save your point, excuse me, for the silence, but he was waiting for that roam mid just in case they could get on him before he got level 6 because he wanted the extra nuke damage, I think, from Arcane Bolt if they were able to like get mid without the Panda being 6.
We've got some big movement coming up from FY as well as Fenrir. They're searching for some opening. They'll see Chuan moving back. There's some pings coming up saying just look towards the high ground. As he's coming now in towards the mid. He's actually running directly into Super. Like, Super can just attack him. Okay, he'll evade with the Sandstorm. But the initial movement here was meant to be so you just look for a secondary Sunstrike. Now, Courier, they're coming in with a fake Faceless Void. Wait, what? Okay, they're coming in with 2 fake Faceless Voids to try and gank up onto Chuan.
He does not have Sandstorm, and they know this, I'm pretty sure.
They not see him? Now they see him. He must be just far enough out of range, but he walks into the tree line where Fenrir is. The Burrow Strike away, the Seal comes a little bit later, and the Sun strikes perfectly on the mark from Invoker. 2nd kill coming the way of Black, while he sits defensively behind his tower. As Ferrari, he came down here to gank him, but he's not finding the opening. The Spirit will come in, it will hit on Black. But getting in underneath that tower when you're going up against Cold Snap and already a level 7.5 Invoker, I don't see this working for Ferrari with split or no split. FY and Fenrir now come to the bottom lane. The Cold Snap goes into June, the Hellfire Blast, and so June's going to go down. Ferrari can go for the split, but now he's still up against 3 heroes as 1. He's lost his ET, he's lost his advantage.
Yeah. Everything's going right for VG this game. They're just playing like the standard lanes, like I said, and they're getting the roams with the Wraith King and Scarlet combo.
Ice, you could have got that kill, man. Leap into Chrono, Sunstrike's off cooldown.
He might want to save it for another hero. Like, using it on an A is not the greatest thing in the world, but yeah. Oh, actually,
when you
courier?
When you're 4-0 up, I don't know if you can actually see it at the moment. When you're 4-0 up as a team and you want to keep momentum going, especially moments like this, the Observer Ward's going to scout out Chung perfectly, and he can just Chrono this, and he does. Chung right in the edge of it, the Sunstrike's going to come in, and it hits its mark. Black now with his 3rd kill. Ice has to walk himself away out of the cold feet, and there's a lot of support coming after him. June, Ferrari, Chisbug, Luo, the other remaining 4 heroes of Invictus Gaming move up to try and, well, at least make sure they can take the stack. But they're dragging so many heroes off the lanes every time they're trying to come for a counter gank, and they're getting nothing for it.
Yeah, like that kill was way more worth the Chrono, because even though they got the stack, they had to give it to other heroes, and Sand King is in desperate need of that experience at the very least. So
Ice was also in range for half of the death of that stack, so he managed to grab some of the experience from it too.
He is very farmed.
He's moving over again to be a nuisance. Chuan, this Observer Ward is only one for the Dire side, and he sees the stack going on, but this is a triple stack which he wants to leech the experience for. And Chisbug, gotta be careful. One time lock, a lucky one, and he'll drop. Invoker, Sunstrike's watching. But he's got 440 life points. What level of Exort are we up to? Okay, it's the 4th level up in Exort. That Sunstrike's still gonna hit pretty hard. As Black's really... He's actually moving through the levels very quickly too. He's about to use his hand of Midas over on the big troll. About to crack level 9. In comparison to like his off mark, the opposite, which is the other number 1 position for IG. It's only just gonna hit level 8, but Razor does have the mech up already, so it's a lot more difficult to kill him off. And he actually hasn't been touched at all.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that hero can easily be managed though by the Viper and like Chronosphere and stuff. So I think they're sort of okay with just letting him do what he wants as long as they're shutting down the other heroes, which they have done very, very well.
Black's hiding again, trying to evade the spirit for the moment. Summons a Forge Spirit, he does get snapped by it a little bit, but Ferrari comes in with an Invis rune. But Black's is moving over to Fenrir as well as FY. So Invis rune or not, there's no Sentry Ward available, and Ferrari, he might initiate, not realizing that FY as well as Fenrir are so close. He'll move up. The Invis rune's still got some time. Viper took out the T1 tower in the mid while they're waiting for all of this. But Black's really not being contested at all. He's got 2.5k gold on this Invoker now. What is he waiting to buy? Because he's obviously not going to buy Phase Boots, Treads, or anything like that. I got a funny feeling he's going to look to rush up Necro units at this rate.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he didn't get a Necro book. Wow, Wraith King actually just got a Midas. Support Wraith King just got an 11-minute Midas, which I mean is really fast for a support hero. And he hasn't really been farming lanes either, that's the thing. He's just been pulling and going for kills. So just between the tower kill, the kills he's gotten, the fact that he hasn't died at all, I mean, that is crazy. That's so bad for IG. A Wraith King with a Midas just means he's going to have a really early 16, and once that hero gets 16, he's a huge nuisance, more so than usual.
Spirit's doing some work here on the bottom lane, but not enough. The Ancient Apparition's got nothing to stop this kind of push. And the SK still has no blink daggers. They can't go for a counter initiation. So the Midas has arrived for FY. So not only is he going to get like that level 16, but he's going to get some very quick farm. With that being the second tier 1 tower to drop. While Ice is sitting up on the top lane. Sees Chuan arrive. And leaps. Chronos reveals him. Sunstrike, perfect position. They keep feeding kills over to Black. He now has 3.7k gold. Black has 5 kills. I don't know how many of them he's actually got by being there. Viper kills off the Ancient Apparition. Looks like initiation. The Viper Strike ticked him out. The regeneration of the world wasn't enough. As Concussive Shot slows down Ferrari, so he's also incapable of chasing. There's just no blink daggers. There's no initiation for IG. They're forced to take what Vici Gaming are throwing at them.
And they're, yeah, basically all the smokings for IG are not working out this game. and everything for VG is working out. And to a certain, it's one of those games where it's just everything. I mean, it's kind of like luck almost. Obviously, that one ward ended up paying off huge. That was really, like, they should have expected them to sort of try and defend against the Sand King. So their like way of doing it this game, instead of warding it or instead of even aggressively roaming the Sand King, was they're just like, we're gonna let him stack it, but we're gonna make sure that ISS gets a lot, and then we're just gonna like ward it for ISS so he can go over and contest the farm when Sand King farms it, which is probably the best way to do it if you're pretty confident that you can get that farm. And if you screw over a Sand King early like they did, I mean, this is the result pretty much. He's just spending all this time trying to like get together a Blink Dagger, but he has one now. It doesn't really do anything though. They already have Mech on Viper. They don't even have a 6 on AA yet, so they can't like combo. I don't think he can kill any hero except for like the Skywrath, because Void and Wraith King are so farmed.
Unless he catches Ice with his pets down with the Mask of Madness turned on. That's like the only other way I'm seeing that happen. FY is now looking at June in the mid. And June just throws him a spirit, but that's all he can do for now. That's a level 2 Necro book. A Blink Dagger as well. Are we assuming FY is going to, like, after Strange Threads, going to go into a Blink Dagger? Just be that jump in initiator that's quite happy to die, just to slow down all of Invictus gaming?
Yeah, I think so. They should really get another Blink initiator this game if they can. Like, he can just go Blink Maelstrom, and he doesn't even need Maelstrom. He can just go Blink. Blade Mail is pretty good this game. They do have a lot of AoE damage, so I don't know if he'll just... It depends on if he wants to go for more of a late game farming build, but he doesn't really need to because, I mean, they're so ahead. He has a Midas already, and they have a Void and Invoker that are really farmed, so I think definitely the Blink, and then afterwards he can sort of decide if he just wants to get like a more farm-oriented thing. But yeah, he can kill with Invoker or Skywrath once he gets his Blink, if he gets it soon enough.
This bottom lane, man. IG, they've been waiting so long for this. Chon's been waiting for the Skywrath mage, just got a little bit too far out.
That's for a Skywrath too, I mean. It's a lot of time invested to try and kill a Skywrath mage.
See his build as well? 1-1-4-1. It's full control over Brewmaster. If Ferrari doesn't get the split, VG Gaming knows they've won the fight hands down. That's their goal right now. Make sure that that guy gets absolutely nothing during a fight. And Chisbug's trying to get his level 6 up on the top blade. He's leeching it by hiding in the tree line. But now aggressive wards coming down by FY, looking behind the tower and up into the jungle. The only thing he didn't do was put a ward up on the high ground to see Chisbug moving like he is now. But the Observer Ward did spot that out. They saw him move just then. Void leaps in. He doesn't want to chrono for this, but with the movement speed and Mask of Madness, he'll do it anyway. The Sunstrike's going to take another kill. I can't believe how many kills Secures Black's managed to achieve, but all that money will now go into finishing up the level 3 Necro book. And that's 16 minutes in. Yep.
Wow.
16 minutes.
They don't really have anything to deal with that kind of push this early. I mean, the Sand King can't really epicenter and fully commit to like a team fight with 700 HP. He doesn't even have like the mana pool yet to really pull off a combo, so...
And even the Brewmaster wants to let his ulti off. If he even gets stunned up for a short period of time, the Necrogate's going to drain out his mana so he can't split. He's got bottle charges, but no arcane boots, so the mana pool is really, really low for him at the moment. And he's in perfect vision. This Observer Ward's seeing the entire lineup of Invictus Gaming. That's why Ice just going to back up. They don't have Chronosphere available. FY, Hellfire Blast. He's going to try and turn a fight into Ferrari and try and force a split. Now Fenrir's coming over. FY is still not dead yet. Luo front lines. There's your Mystic Flare. The Burrow Strike with the Epicenter and the splitter from June. Doing some nice work, but Black comes to the engagement. Good deafening blast back. Ferrari, he will get the split off. Chisbug will go down. The orb attack damage of Fenrir. So it's 3 for the price of 1. Blast gone A-ball. Try and battle up against a split target. Ice, back to the fight. June, he'll take a fall. Black, still alive. This guy is just so tanky. The Brewmaster ulti is now going to wear off. He gets one last hit with the Drunken Brawler. So Black managed to waste the entire Brewmaster ulti. His Necro units are still up. The Skywrath Mage of all people is taking a triple kill here. And GG is the call. 17 minutes in, not even a tier 2 tower going down just yet. That just shows you Invictus Gaming respecting the fact that VG Gaming owned this game.
Yeah. That fight went about as good as possible for them, and they still all died and only killed 2. So that's a respectable leave. I mean, I think they just want to keep their morale up on their team, basically, and they're like, this is over, let's just go on to the next one.
Yeah.
I think that was just an outdraft in every way, pretty much.
It does feel like it. It really, really does feel like it. I'm interested to see how game number 4 is going to feel because we're not having a clean sweep. VG Gaming, they're behind, but they're not out. So IG, a 2-1 advantage. Of course, we'll be back after this short break. In the meantime, you can, of course, follow the channel here on Twitch. We're pumping out a lot of Dota 2 today. We got a full ESL night planned for you. There's D2CL games as well. There's a lot of Dota. Join the Blues also going to be doing MSI Beat It in 2 hours' time when they actually have a rematch of VG versus IG happening over there as well with Basekeep casting that one. But please definitely support everything we're doing here at Join Dota. Subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, all that jazz, and we'll see you guys back here for game number 4 in just a couple of moments' time.